Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another engaging session of DTalk 2.0. Today, we explore a compelling and timely topic: why do so many earthquakes occur in Japan? Our speaker, Bhagya P, will guide us through the geological intricacies that make Japan one of the most seismically active regions on the earth. We will delve into the tectonic dynamics, historical events, and the nation's resilience in the face of frequent seismic activity. Without further ado, let's welcome Bhagya P onto the stage for this insightful discussion.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today I'll be explaining just a basic idea of why Japan faces so many earthquakes. And you guys don't worry whether you are not familiar with tectonic plates or other technical words. It's the outer layer of Earth called the crust, and it's not just a single solid layer. It's broken into several large pieces known as tectonic plates. These plates are rest on the deeper layer of Earth called mantle, which is hotter and softer than the crust because of the heat movement. In the mantle, tectonic plates are slowly moving only a few centimeters per year. And while most of the world was busy in celebrating the 2024 New Year, Japan was facing a serious issue. That's a massive 7.6 magnitude earthquake hit the western region of the country. Lots of buildings were collapsed and dozens of people were lost their lives. But that was in the end. In the next 24 hours, 155 aftershocks are followed on the west coast region. The tsunami waves hit 1 meter high, came crashing the shore. And the Japan Meteorological Agency issued a major tsunami warning. Still, the damage was very intense, but the death rate is only 55. If the same earthquake is happened in many other countries, the death rate will be over thousands. But in Japan, it stayed below 100. That's why Japan is one of the most prepared country for when it comes to disaster resilience. Japan is the most prepared country in the world of prevent the resilience. Their buildings are designed to absorb the earthquake shocks. Their peoples are trained on what to do in that situation, and their alert system as very instant. Japan doesn't wait for the disaster to strike. It plans, prepares, and practices. That's why even when there are strong earthquake hits, and the damages are very less because of the preparedness. There is a reason behind Japan's resilience. It's called the preparedness. It's not just a luck. It's called its preparedness. Let's understand what happened in that night. The earthquake is usually known as the 2024 Sea of Japan earthquake, or more commonly the Noto Peninsula earthquake. Now, this is the Noto Peninsula part. It's the three part is covered by the water. It's a landform sticking to the sea, surrounded by the water in the three sides. And the earthquake's epicenter was actually in the Sea of Japan, west of the country, and around 500 kilometers from Tokyo. Tokyo is Japan's capital. And these aftershocks are very powerful. They felt away from Tokyo. I said it's 500 kilometers from the epicenter. So that's the aftershocks are very powerful. So let's discuss why Japan faces so many earthquakes. The reason is lying in the earth structure, specifically in the tectonic plates. These are the 16 tectonic plates around the world. And tectonic plates are some massive slabs that makes Earth crust and upper mantle. These 16 tectonic plates move very slowly after the year by year because of the convection current happen inside inside of the Earth. When these plates are interact with by colliding, sliding apart or pulling apart, the tectonic stress causing the earthquake. There are three main type of tectonic stress. First one is compression. Compression is happen when plates push towards to each other, and the second one is tension when plates are pulled apart. Shear stress is when plates are slide apart each other. That's why this is the reason why earthquake occur. And Japan is situated in the most geologically active places of Earth, right at the meeting point of four tectonic plates. These are the Pacific plate, Philippine plate, and Eurasian plate, and the North American plate. Japan is situated at the meeting point of these four tectonic plates. And that's the reason why so many earthquakes are seen in Japan. Now the Pacific plate plays a particular dramatic role here. Pacific plate is the most active place of among these tectonic plates, and its boundary forms are called the Pacific Ring of Fire. Pacific Ring of Fire is a horseshoe shaped zone around the Pacific Ocean that witness most of the earthquakes and volcanoes. And the dangers about the danger subduction zones, the boundary near the Japan is a convergent boundary. More specifically, it's a subduction zone. That's where the two plates come together, and one tectonic plate is underneath the denser tectonic plate, and where the plate one dives beneath the other into the mantle, forming deep trenches. Once a trench is called the Japan Trench, located near the east coast of the Japan. It reaches the part of 8.4 kilometers. This is the Pacific Ring of Fire, as I mentioned. Look at the map. This map shows the depth of oceans across the world. The lighter the color, the shallower the ocean, and the darker is the color, the deeper the ocean. The second picture is the ocean near the Japan shore. That is very darker in color. So that's the Japan Trench. Because of these countries that get more tsunamis in Japan, because Japan Trench is very near to the shore. Because of Japan coastline is so close to these trenches, tsunami waves are fallen earthquake travel a very short distance before it hitting the land. This leaves very little times for warnings, makes especially Japan is more vulnerable for tsunamis. So, do you guys, does anyone know the meaning of the word tsunami? Tsunami means harbor waves. Tsunami is actually a Japanese word. Tsu means harbor, and the nami means wave. And the world adopt these terms because of the more often tsunamis have affected Japan throughout their history. And countries like Australia, Russia, and most of Europe are situated in the middle of part of the tectonic plates. That why they are experience fewer earthquakes and fewer and weaker earthquakes. On the other hand, areas lies on the plate boundaries face more frequent and dangerous seismic activity. Depending on how plates interact with each other, there is a three type of boundaries are formed: convergent, divergent, and transform fault boundaries. Convergent boundaries are formed by colliding of two tectonic plates. Divergent plate boundary formed by the opposite movement of the tectonic plates, and the transform fault boundaries formed by the sliding of two tectonic plates. And the most violent earthquakes occur at the convergent and transform fault boundaries, just like those around Japan. And now let's discuss how Japan protects itself. Japan is the global leader of the disaster preparedness, especially when it comes to earthquake safety. Japan uses 3 levels of construction standard for the building construction. That's 3 type of building standard is Taishin standard, Seishin standard and Menchin standard. Taishin standard is a very basic requirement for constructing buildings. It must have strong pillars, beams and walls to withstand the shaking aftershocks of the earthquake. And the Seishin standard applied in only tall buildings is include dampers and rubber mat under the construction. It absorbs the shock and reduce the earthquake vibration. Menchin standard is the most advanced standard. Buildings are placed on layers of steel, lead and rubber, allowing them to move separate from the ground. Staying stable even during the, it helps to stay stable even during the earthquake. And second one is tsunami safety measures. Tsunami protection is more difficult compared to the earthquake, but Japan has taken many steps to reduce the impact of tsunamis. First one is tsunami control forest. It's just planting a dense forest along the coast of the Japan that slow down and reduce the impact tsunami wave impact. And second one is coastal dikes. These are the strong stone barriers built to block the tsunami waves, weak tsunami waves before they reach the coast. And the tsunami evacuation tower is a tall structure where people can quickly reach during the tsunami prone areas. Second one is sea walls. Japan has built these type of concrete walls so it prevent the tsunami waves. And the early warning system, including advanced sensors and siren to alert people as soon as something is detected. And the evacuation drills are continuously followed by the schools, office and communities regularly to ensure everyone is know about how to respond to these kind of disasters. And even these are all precaution, but nature can still overpower the human efforts. So, in example, in 2011, Japan faced a most powerful earthquake, which triggered the tsunami, caused about 20,000 deaths. After that, Japan is tightened its safety precaution and safety standard even further. So, in conclusion, Japan is located on the most geologically active regions of the world, and the constant movement of these four tectonic plates and the deep oceanic trenches and the presence of Pacific Ring of Fire make the earthquake and tsunami frequent threat. Yet, Japan has shown the world how to plan, and innovation, engineering and education can save lives through the strict building codes, warning system and regular public awareness. Japan proves the preparedness can make all these different in the face of disaster. Thank you.
We welcome your inquiries on the tectonic settings, seismic history, and disaster preparedness strategies related to Japan's earthquake activity. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask now.
Bhagya, you have mentioned about the movements of the tectonic plates. So how does movements lead to earthquake?
I mentioned about the tectonic plates. These tectonic plates are always moving, and it's mainly mainly about three types: convergent, divergent, and sliding apart. That is the transform fault boundaries. As I said, they move smoothly because of friction. So their edges often stuck in between, and while the rest of the plate is moving, it creates a lot of stress in between the rocks. At the fault lines, fault line is the place where two tectonic plate moves, and these stress lead to stress increase and suddenly break the stress. It release seismic waves that causes the earthquakes. Yes, Radha.
So I have two questions. First one is, can you explain what is epicenter? And the second question is, by showing in map, we recently heard about the earthquake in Russia. So what is the reason behind that earthquake?
So epicenter is the place where just the earthquake is started, and in Russia, I think last month earthquake is happened. Russia is situated at this earthquake is happened at the edge of the tectonic plate. I think it's the eastern part of the Russia. That's more closer to the tectonic boundaries. So it can happen. Not only in the part of convergent plate boundaries.
So it's only happening in the plate boundary or in the middle of the plates?
Not just middle of the tectonic plates. It's more likely to happen in the edges of the tectonic plates, boundary areas. Yes, sir.
You were mentioning about epicenter. Can you say once again what is that?
Earthquake just happened in that area. That point is called epicenter.
Have you heard about focus?
Sorry, sir. The focus is the starting point, and epicenter is the place just above the surface. So it's my mistake.
You can just explain it to them if you want. About the epicenter. What is it means?
Most of the time, earthquake are just happen inside the earth. It may be the underlayer of the crust. So, and these seismic waves are travel through this layer, and the aftershocks are affecting the surface of the earth. That point is called the epicenter, and the point out there is called the focus. So, is there any question?
Questions, inquiries? You are supposed to say something.
Further, any questions? Thank you, Bhagyapi, for that enlightening presentation on why do so many earthquakes occur in Japan. Your discussion provided valuable insights into the geological factors contributing to Japan's seismicity and measures taken to mitigate associated risks. With DTOP 2.0, we continue to explore critical topics that shape our understanding of science, nature, and society. Wishing everyone a wonderful evening and see you all in the next session. Thank you.